You've been triggered.
Yes.
There we go.
In a good way.
All aboard! Welcome to the Hogwarts Express. I can't even say Hogwarts. Hogwarts.
Hello, everybody. This is G and Yanka, and we are here
on the Hogwarts Express
to talk to you about some parenting stuff, right?
Welcome to the Practical Parenting Podcast,
which is also peaceful and positive
and proactive and pertinent. Your turn.
And super cool.
Does that count?
Epic.
A pig. This is welcome to Animal Farm.
Yes. So yeah. So what's new today?
Yes.
What's happening in the world around about us?
Yes. So yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that introduction is.
You drunk?
Just about. Well, I had a piece of the pavlova.
Oh, so you're high on sugar. Pavlova.
Pavlova.
Yeah.
I had. Yeah. So I'm high on life and dessert.
It was your first ever double layered pavlova in your life.
It's a bit squished.
Yes.
Why was it squished?
Well,
Will says it's tasty.
Okay. Do you want the whole story?
Yeah, okay.
Do you want the whole story about
I love stories.
how I started making the pavlova yesterday and didn't finish it because the whites wouldn't stiffen.
I hate it when the whites won't stiffen.
And I just whisked and whisked and whisked until I overheated my whisker.
You did what?
I overheated my whisker and I started whisking with my hand because I thought
whisking believable.
I know. But still the whites wouldn't stiffen.
You overheated the what, did it melt or burn or
so I chucked them. I chucked them in the toilet. And
you put the whisker in the toilet?
The whites. And I started again because sometimes when the whites get contaminated with fat, they don't stiffen, right?
How did you break the whisker?
I didn't break it. It didn't break.
Oh, it didn't break. It just overheated.
No, it overheated. It started smelling weird, so I left it.
Aren't whiskers? What? There must be another name for it. It's called a whisker because.
Well, they call it mixer, but that's not. I don't like that name because it's confusing for me.
Never mix your mixer with a whisker.
Because mixer in Slovak is blender. I mean, the blender is called mixer in Slovak, and the mixer is called whisker in Slovak.
I hate it when the Slovaks get things so terribly wrong. You can't get what you want because they've given it a different name.
So,
like toast. You ask for toast, you get bread.
Whatever. Anyway.
Toastový chlieb, because that's the only reference they have for toast. Because they don't know what toast is. Because
you're supposed to learn Slovak language if you live here for more than 15 years. So you say hrianka.
I say hrianka and they look at me like...
That's because you don't pronounce your h. You have to learn to pronounce your h before your r. Hrianka.
Jose.
Anyway. So I had to check the first set of whites. So I broke another set of whites. I was extremely careful so they don't get contaminated by anything. And I whisked the whites and they stiffened. And then I whisked in the sugar and then suddenly they went all runny again, right?
What?
And so I whisked and whisked and whisked until I overheated my whisker. And again. So I stopped and I thought, oh, F this. I'm just going to cook it as it is. Right. So, what did I do next? So next, I took the mixture and I poured it onto the baking trays, and then I realized that I forgot to put in the vinegar and the cornstarch, so I had to pour it out of the baking trays again. And now this was pouring because it was liquid, right? So I pour it back out of the baking trays, back into the bowl, added the cornstarch, added the vinegar. I should have taped this, or I should have taken a video because this would be a great cooking video for anyone out there.
What? How not to cook with yanka?
So I folded, because they said fold in the cornstarch and the vinegar. Like, can you imagine folding the vinegar? Yeah. So I folded in the vinegar, right? And I poured it back on the trays again, and I've put it in the oven, and it actually worked. But what I had to do was I had to leave the kitchen because I couldn't bear looking at it and seeing it all go horribly wrong. So I've just left it in the oven, and I've left the room, and I came back in 45 minutes later, just like the recipe said. And it worked. It
worked?
Yeah. So I
took it. Did you find a new way?
Yeah.
Have you invented a new way of making cakes?
Yeah, you just have to pour the pavlova. So I took it out of the oven, right? I had two of them because I wanted 2 layers of my cake. I took it out of the oven. I dropped one on the floor. Picked it up again, all 3 pieces of it. And then I went to whisk the cream.
Stick it back together?
No. Yeah, well, kind of. Never mind.
No, yes, well, kind of.
Well, because I used the cream,
one of the
right?
following.
I used the cream, obviously. I didn't use the glue, okay? So I used the whole one as the base, and I put a lot of whipped cream on it. And then I put the broken one in the 3 pieces and I glued it onto the cream. And then I put more cream on top so you can't see that it's broken. And then I put on a lot of fruit, and that step actually worked out quite nice. So that's how you make pavlova for birthday.
Right. When you dropped it, did it bounce?
No.
No. Okay.
It smashed. It was all over the kitchen. That might be the reason,
That might be the reason, Will. Yes, why you found everything everywhere.
Yeah, on the floor.
Oh, I'd love to play with the piano with you, darling. Unfortunately,
we can do that after we've finished recording, okay?
I like listening to you play, though.
Yeah, you're doing great.
It's very nice, very creative.
Anyway, you know that I'm gonna have to leave at some point, right? To check the meat. Because I couldn't cook while you were teaching, right? And I couldn't really cook before because I was baking. So
Are you baking all night?
No? Are you crazy? I was sleeping all night.
Yeah.
Sleeping and translating.
Well,
not at the same time, obviously, one after the other.
Right, okay. No, it's just that you fell asleep on the couch earlier.
Yeah, I was a bit tired.
I was wondering if that was because you were up all night.
You were cuddling with Jasmine. That was nice.
Happy birthday.
Anyway, yeah, the point is we have a birthday girl here, and she's 5 today, and she's so big that she wiped her own butt today. Yes.
Her arms are so long now.
Toilet. Speak again.
It's okay.
But he can't hear the movie. He's panicking because he can't hear the movie, not because we're recording.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Bit of a conflict of interest.
Well, you know what's a good idea? You can watch it, and then you can read the book, and then you'll know what they talked about in the film.
That would take me.
Yep.
1 month.
I might be able to set up some. Okay, set up some headphones. I don't have any headphones that would work directly with that.
Where's the 5-year-old girl running up and down the flat?
I don't know why she because it's her birthday. That's
Oh,
why.
okay, of course.
That's why.
Because she's 5.
She's 5.
Because she got a unicorn.
Do you think that you could run around a little bit more like a princess, perhaps?
Tippy toes?
Tippy toes rather than a rhinoceros? Because the rhinoceros is... Because there's the rhinoceros over there. Yes. Perhaps you can...
Chelsea, tippy toes!
Perhaps you can play your tippy toes game. No?
Oh, what do you have? Oh, look, she's tippy-toeing.
Oh, look. It's Weenie Pig.
Oh,
Weenie Pig is back.
oh, Weenie Pig.
She just wanted to give it to me.
Oh, you love to cuddle Weenie Pig, do you?
Sing it loud. He's back. He's being crushed under an armpit. Hey, why am I making noises? I don't. Yeah. Oh, what name are you going to call it? Mala. Mala's a fantastic name. Can I have a look at your unicorn? Because I haven't seen it yet. Oh, wow. So this is Mala, right? Oh.
She has a bubble.
Bubble. What? I can. Oh. Oh, there's a. I can't see because of the contrast. There's a plaster. She got a plaster because she got a bubble there.
Yeah. And Zora got a special medical bag today, didn't you, Zora?
Real first aid kit.
Real first aid
Real
kit.
first aid kit,
To look
yeah.
after us.
With real
Could
bandages.
have done with that yesterday.
A real bandage.
Look at that.
Oh, I got it.
A rainbow unicorn. What more could the little girl wish for? What's the name again? Mala the unicorn. Right.
Tell Zora that you have a hurt foot and that you need her to bandage it.
Oh gosh, she'll come back looking like the mummy.
Do you think Zora should bandage your foot?
No. Do you want to bandage your sister's foot, darling? Play doctors and nurses. I liked Will's doctor's advice earlier. Don't blink for a week and you'll be fine.
Don't blink for a week. That's a good one.
Yes.
He
Next.
complained to me that the first aid kit is not complete because there's no blunt knife in it.
A blunt knife.
Yes, and there's no
Like
saw.
a baseball bat.
Yeah.
What?
There's no saw.
What do you need a blunt knife for?
For the
That's sharp.
surgeries, I asked him. He said for the surgeries.
Shouldn't that be a sharp knife?
No.
You say like, no.
No.
Nope, you're wrong.
No.
No, it
You're
shouldn't be.
supposed to use a blunt knife or a spoon. Or a saw.
Blunt knife.
Anyway, there was none of these, obviously. So
None of them. None.
they couldn't perform any surgeries, unfortunately.
So they all died.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they were.
The animals.
Did you save all the animals, Will?
Yeah, we used a red blunt cutlery knife.
A blunt cutlery knife to save all the animals.
Thank goodness.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm
Well,
sure.
next time I need a heart surgery, I'll come to you.
I
Brain surgery.
wouldn't really recommend that. Perhaps talk therapy would be good. He's very good at that. There you go. Ah,
Okay, stop boring me and start talking about something interesting.
okay. So, nothing ever happens in your podcast. It does, but I'm sorry, we can't have explosions in the background because there is no background, and lots of special effects causing things. I'm not going to do this. Everything you need to know
In 5 hours.
in the 5 points of doing something in 2 minutes, which that stuff is just ridiculously. I don't know. Ridiculously ridiculous.
Just boring.
Redonkulous.
It's not ridiculous. It's just boring. There's times and place for that stuff.
Well,
Our
just make it
living
short-
room is not the time and the place for that stuff.
Make it shorter. What's up, darling? Birthday girl? What's the story? Morning glory? She's thinking. Scissors to cut the bandage.
You do need scissors to cut the bandage. Yes.
Oh,
Make sure you don't cut your sister's foot off, though.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Don't.
Productive spell.
We have a bit of Harry Potter in the background.
Or maybe it's her.
It's quite loud. Whatever it is, it's making demonic noises, and it's quite loud. Right.
It's quite scary.
Yes. Are we solving the scissors thing? What's
Should I
going
go?
on? I don't know.
Should I stay?
I can smell food. Can we not do this and eat at the same time? Kill 2 stones with. I know it's 2 birds. Kill 2 birds. I know. I just twist the words to make the things sound a little bit more interesting. Right. I was doing a lot of work this morning while a lot of the festivities and birthday things are going on. I'm not quite sure what Zora got, so I'm going to ask Will. Will, what did Zora get for her birthday? She got a lot of things. Too much.
And gloves.
Hat and gloves. That's practical. Winter is coming.
Big pack of lots of glitter.
A big pack of glitter. You cannot get enough glitter. Definitely. Sparkle, sparkle. What else did she get? A rainbow unicorn. A set of pens. Markers. What? Thin ones? Thick ones? What kind of markers did you get? Thin ones. Okay. I was also busy trying to document the thing at the same time. And take nice pictures.
And the unicorn.
Oh, I mentioned the
In the medical bag.
the horse with the funny head.
Yeah.
And
And
a medical bag.
the Lego magazine.
A Lego magazine.
And 2 nightgowns
2 nightgowns.
and a t-shirt.
Right. It's quite a lot. We said Lego, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, that was a part
Lego.
of the Lego magazine. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So this medical bag thing interests me. What's that
Well,
about?
when she used to watch Octonauts, she always identified with Peso, and she always told me that she wants to be a animal doctor or a underwater animal doctor or just a doctor. You know, she kind of changed that back and forth.
An underwater animal doctor.
Yeah, and
Are there such things? Do they
like
exist?
sea creatures doctor, like Peso.
A doctor for sea creatures.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist, does it?
I don't know, aquatic animal vet. I don't know. Is there such a thing?
AAV.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there are some oceanologists specialists who specialize in helping beached whales and things like that. No, I don't know.
Especially what?
But if there is such thing,
This is people with. Oh, that's fun. That's fantastic.
Come show me.
You're all bandaged. She has actually all bandaged up. Zora has bandaged her sister's
Show
feet
me.
up. Wow, that's incredible. I think we've got a little nurse here. Look at that. Wow. It just looks like a sock.
That's
Just to
actually
show the toes.
really good. Yeah, she does have
It's better.
toes
It's
there.
better than I could do.
Yeah, definitely.
I would just be. I would just. I'd have string there. trying to
Yeah,
keep-
and
keep it together.
sellotape. A lot of
And
sellotape.
sellotape. The big, thick, brown or black
You
stuff.
tape it up. You used to tape something up. I can't remember what it was. Your shoes? Your shoes or your foot or something? You used to tape something up. I can't remember what it was. Something with your feet.
Thanks. Thank you for that interesting segue into things. Do you remember you used to tape something up, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out that you use tape for everything.
Tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you use what you've got, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have cement, so.
Yeah. So you tape things up instead of cementing them up.
I'm kind of a tie things together kind of person. It would,
Usually holds for a while.
for a while, it does. Yeah. Don't ask me to build a house though.
Okay. I won't.
Unless it's Lego. Lego houses are okay. Right. Yes. Recent criticisms about the length of the podcast have not gone unnoticed, but they will be ignored completely because we just like to do things our way, and that's that. And we still think it's better than Netflix. So there we go. Right.
Yeah.
Better than the BBC. There we go. That should be the slogan, the undertitle. Better than the BBC. And people go, oh, what's the BBC? Yeah. Anyway.
BBC.
What?
BBC.
Uh,
Better than BBC.
That would be BT BBC.
I ignored that then.
Why?
I just chose to.
You can't just ignore one of the words
I
because it doesn't fit in. BT BBC. Better than the BBC. Didn't see. Go. Bang. Dude, it done. You're right there.
But you need a
You
little
try.
bit of romance if you want to be better than Netflix. Because that's what gets people.
Well, that'll just end up like the Hallmark
you know.
channel.
Well, like me being really, cool and everything, and you just being
There
like
was-
Catherine
there was
Bell with like no response.
Catherine Bell, woman who now cannot act because
Yeah,
she's
I'm
been
gonna-
so stylized.
I'm gonna
and-
throw my romantic glances at you. You're just gonna be like, you should organize this drawer.
She's got a face like a spade. Anyway. Right.
Because your face is lovely, isn't it?
I've got a face like a tractor, so what do I care, right? What do I care? I mean, we talked about this in the last podcast. The right to criticize and the right to be offensive is extremely important in a free society.
What's the point
Dude, it's,
offending somebody's face? I mean,
It's funny.
that's what you get born with, right? I mean, why would you feel the need to offend somebody's face?
why not? I mean, it's funny.
It's not funny. It's just silly.
Don't you ever see someone's face and think, that's weird? Apart from mine. Okay. See, now you're laughing. Like you're laughing at my face, telling me that I can't make comments about other people's faces. You don't see this double standard there?
I'm laughing at the apart from mine thing.
Right, so you are laughing at my face, basically.
No, I'm laughing at what you said.
Are you laughing at my face? Like, yeah. And the face, the facial expressions can basically, you're right there. can basically tell you almost everything you need to know about a person.
Yeah. What do my basic blah? What do my facial expressions tell you about me? You've got some kind of a problem.
Bewilderment.
You've got some kind of a problem with my facial expressions.
Bewilderment.
Because you're always like, you're making faces.
Well, you do. You don't.
I'm
you
making.
don't-
I've got a face. I'm not
No,
making it.
Okay, you're changing your face into weird contorted positions that I have to try to interpret because you replace your answers with those facial expressions. It's there, I said it.
Oh, that's why you're so frustrated by my facial expressions, because you can't interpret them.
Oh, I can interpret them, but the fact is I have to do it for you rather than listen to you say it. It's even difficult to explain.
I can see that.
No, really it is. No, really it is. I mean, it comes from the Turgenev book that I read years ago, where he said the woman descended the stairs with a face like a clenched fist.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow, that's such an incredible piece of imagery.
Mm-hmm.
It's so powerful and so striking that I've often sort of thought back to that and realized that you can tell a lot about people's life from the expressions on their face. You know instantly people who are far too serious about things. They've got that I haven't cracked a smile in weeks kind of look, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The
Yeah.
people who are they're nice people, but very serious and unable to see the ridiculous side of things. You're like, let's say you're the woman I'm thinking of right now, director of a company, and it would be like something strange happens in the office, or some accident happens and somebody spills something onto something and somebody trips over something, and it just leads to a whole series of events where everything just becomes ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And she wouldn't smile. She'd be like, She wouldn't smile or laugh or see the irony in the fact that you prepare everything perfectly and the only single thing you don't have control over goes wrong, right? That would just kind of be ridiculous. Okay, so
I'm imagining your reaction. You probably just say a lot of swear words.
well, I get it out, right? It's better than bottling it all up inside and pretending that everything is fine or closing the door and having a panic attack in the dark or
It's
something.
true. That's true. Yeah, I like how the what do you call it? I don't know.
We're waiting.
I don't have the word.
Yeah.
I've lost the words. I don't speak English anymore. How the attitude towards life translates in people's faces when they age. You see the wrinkles. I like it how that shows you a lot about a person, because the wrinkles are not going to lie to you. Whatever you do the most is going with your face is going to leave wrinkles. So you can either have the crow's feet, in the corners of your eyes, or you can have like a long face going on there. At the corners of your mouth. Some people have corners of their mouth just going down, and
if you're listening to the podcast, you can try to make these expressions as we're talking.
And when they're listening,
CBBC.
And when they're relaxed, their mouth just goes like that, like unhappy face, naturally.
You know what makes me smile? It makes me smile when I see those heavy metal or hardcore guitarists going, making that. They do this kind of where their mouth takes the
duck face.
The shape of the duck face is like when you suck your lips together, right? Duck face is like.
That's a fish face.
Oh, it's a duck face.
No, that's a fish face.
That's a duck face.
Duck face is when you press your lips together and they kind of go outwards like a duck's beak.
This one, right?
It's this one.
What? That's a platypus. That's not.
Well, a platypus has a mouth like a duck.
But it's not a duck.
Anyway, yeah, I know what you're talking about. They kind of scrunched up their chin and they push their lower lip up to their upper lip and just go, and their mouth just goes like that.
Yeah, they sort of have this bizarrely semi-serious kind of look on their face.
Do you think they practice it at special rock star seminars?
Rock star seminars?
Like practice your guitar solo
I think
face.
people just copy each other. The neighbor has a drill again in the background. If you're picking up the noise that's going on there, the neighbor that's promised not at this point in time ever to drill anything because kids in the building are sleeping is a lying motherfucker and somebody needs to have a word with him. And
that somebody's going to be me again.
Well, next time it won't, because we've done the nicey stuff. I sent you to do the nicey stuff. I don't do nicey. I just do limits. You've crossed the line. That's my perspective on it. You've crossed the line.
You've crossed the line. It's gonna be your a trademark sentence.
No, my trademark sentence. I've already got my trademark sentence.
If somebody crosses your line, hire G. He's going to go and say,
dun, dun, dun,
"You've crossed the
dun,
line."
No, I've got my trademark. It came from the last email series that I wrote. I always find myself writing. Think about it. You might have noticed.
Yes.
Because I got you to check the emails. It's just like I had to put it in every email.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, I know. Think about it. But I think it's think. But I think that's my trademark phrase.
Think about it.
Think about it. Just don't have to do anything now. Take the information, take the idea, just think about it, process it. Yeah, and then see what conclusions you can come to from that. But that's my trademark phrase to people. I use it a lot in my teaching. I say something to somebody, and maybe they'll have that strange look on my face that you always have. Strange look on their
Bewilderment.
face. Their face, not my face. Get it right. Okay. I'll have a strange look on my face anyway, and they will be trying to follow me and understand which planet I'm coming from today, and then I'll stop and I'll say, think about it, and then move on to the next thing. So
I've got something to trigger you today.
oh, excellent! Trigger it away. Trigger it away.
It's just going to be probably.
You know when you start like
offensive
that,
and
it doesn't
everything.
work.
That's why I did that, because I don't want you to be actually triggered. Anyway,
I'll trigger myself then.
so I'm so confused. Yeah, I have shared this article.
My name's Jesse. I'm 2.5 years old, and I think I'm a penguin.
Peso. Peso is a penguin.
Oh, is that where she gets it
Yeah.
from? I didn't make that connection. There you go.
And
Trigger away.
yeah, I have read an article that a friend of mine shared.
Okay, that'll be an ex-friend of mine.
Yes.
Already.
And I shared it as well because I thought it was an interesting point of view, even though obviously it wasn't complex. It was just a part of a puzzle. Okay. And it was a reaction to the recent happenings in the sexual harassment thing. People being disclosed, and the
Oh, he's a Hollywood pedophiles.
actors, being not just pedophiles. It wasn't just about pedophiles. It was about sexual predators as well. And
That's what a pedophile is. Pedophile is a sexual predator.
yes, but it was also about men who harass women, grown women, not just children.
Men who harass women.
Yeah.
See, I've seen a lot of things about that as well. Do you want me to comment now? I'll comment now.
No, not yet.
Because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up
this-
and ready to go already.
There was this article that some woman wrote. Basically, she was inspired by something somebody wrote on Twitter, right?
Because Twitter's the place for all the intelligent people write things.
Because she heard some men, not just one, but
Look, it's a first aid kit. You're watching the video.
she
You're on the podcast. You can't see. First aid kit for broken hearts and paper cuts. Check that out. That's so cool. I'm listening to you.
yeah. And she found out that a lot of men have reacted like, oh, it's dangerous to be a man right now.
It's really cool.
A lot of men reacted saying it's a dangerous time to be a man right now because we have to be so careful about every single interaction with women.
That's true.
And she pointed out in her article, which was a response to this,
Oh, thank you. Bandages going on in the background.
that
Okay.
hello, so you know how we feel every single day in our interaction with men. And she pointed out that what
Okay, wait, no,
men-
stop.
I'm not going to stop.
No, wait. This is ridiculous because I want you to make a point and I'll talk about it. But if you make 5 or 6 points like you've made, it's not fair. Okay? It's absolutely not fair. So
The main point.
No, you can't because you've made 3 points already that I need to comment on. And
Okay, comment on them and I'll continue after you're finished with your comments.
Okay. Women in Hollywood, right? I'll talk about women in Hollywood. Women in Hollywood basically get their parts because of their sexuality, right? They play on it, right? They
Spat
play
on
on
me.
Right, there we go.
Stop it.
There we go. Spat on
I don't
myself
know.
now.
I can't tell you if that's right or wrong.
No,
because
I can
don't
tell.
know.
I can. Women in Hollywood get their parts because they're young, they're beautiful, they're fit, they're attractive, they've got sexuality, sensuality.
Can
that's
men
how
do
they-
as well?
Yeah, I'm not talking about men. I'm talking about women.
Okay, I'm just
Okay.
pointing out
Okay.
that it
Then
just works
what
both
happens?
ways.
What happens is that women then start to complain about being objectified by men. Yet women use that objectification to get work, to get their jobs. we all enjoy looking beautiful, right? Or trying to look beautiful. I mean, as you get older, you just give up, right? Because it's fucking pointless. But we all enjoy trying to look nice and presentable, and this is used by people in every situation, from social interactions to job interviews, to increase their opportunities in life.
Yes.
Right? And women in Hollywood use their sexuality to get their parts.
Are you talking about, you know, they use the fact that they look good, they dress nice, they wear nice makeup? Of course they do, because part of their job is
I'm not finished.
visual presentation, so that's natural.
Yes, but then
because that's what they're selling.
Yes, they objectify themselves first, and then they complain about being objectified. You can't have it both ways.
They don't complain about being objectified. They complain about being sexually attacked.
Okay, next thing, right? You choose the company of the people that you put yourself in. If you put yourself, like, if I put myself, if I walk down the wrong street at night and I get robbed because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, it's partly my fault, right? Because I put myself there, and I should know not to be there, right? And I lived in London for 5 years, and you don't walk down this street, you walk down that street. There are safe ways to go, and there are not safe ways to go. I was almost killed once. I was attacked by a guy with a machete for walking down the wrong street, right? So and it happened to my friends as well. If you don't know the gangs, if you don't know the people, you don't go down certain streets in London, because it's just not safe for men to go down certain streets. Yeah, if you don't walk into certain shops if you don't speak the language of the people running the shop, right? It's really brutal, right? Now this doesn't happen to women. They just let the women go in and go out and whatever, but the man comes in, and it's like daggers, right? And women don't realize that men have to go through that in London. Okay. Anyway, back to the point, which is about you choose your friends. You choose the company that you put yourself in. Yeah. If you're hanging out with the wrong people, bad things are going to happen to you. That's your choice. If you think that hanging out with these people is going to get you somewhere, it's going to get you a job, it's going to get you, you're in with the right crowd and the right people, and that's going to help push your career, and you're with the wrong crowd of people. There's no woman in history that has ever been attacked or raped or anything else for hanging out with the right people. It's always because they were with the wrong people, and that was their choice, because they take the risk of putting themselves in the company of bad people who are everywhere.
How do you know that they're bad people? How do you know?
You've got a brain. What's your brain for? If your brain is not for knowing that, what is it for? That's the number. That's like, it's extreme to say that's the number one thing, but it's like in the top 5 things that anybody should recognize almost instantly. You've got what is your brain? Your brain is a radar. Your brain is a radar for scanning the world around about you and looking for threats.
Okay. Point.
That's what your brain is.
Can I say point to this? Okay. When you find out that there is a problem, the most logical thing is, unless you're bound by a contract, okay?
The people with the drills are drilling in the background.
Unless you're bound by a contract that you very often are, okay? What you do is you leave the company. But that does not mean that the people who sexually attack you are not wrong. That doesn't mean that they don't have to be punished, and that doesn't mean that they don't have to be exposed. And that does not mean that this woman is not going to say, hey, this happened to me, it's wrong, this person has to be removed or punished because they are hurting other people, including me. Okay?
I don't know what you're saying. I mean,
I'm saying if somebody comes and you know, hurts you, breaks your leg, what you're going to do, you're going to go to the police and you're going to tell them, this guy broke my leg. Do something about it, right?
You might or might not do that. Probably the best thing is to do that. The best thing is to go and report it. I absolutely agree. The best thing is to report crimes.
Yeah, so that's what's happening, okay? So, yes, okay, she shouldn't have worked for the company, but she probably didn't know that her boss would go to when she was signing the contract, that her boss was going to freaking...
Absolutely no, absolutely no.
Absolutely yes.
No, because you're a stupid fuck.
You're not a stupid
You are a
fuck.
stupid. You're a stupid fuck.
You're normal.
You're stupid.
You expect people to be normal. That's normal.
No.
And when they're not normal, you report
it. To
it.
expect. Look, in a predatory environment now, if you don't know that Hollywood is predatory, newsflash, it's predatory. Okay. If you don't, right? If you're in that kind of environment, it's predatory.
That doesn't give anybody right to attack you, though.
Nobody has any right to attack anybody, but if you put yourself, if you get out of the safe water, and Hollywood's out of the safe water,
yes,
right, you get eaten by the sharks. That's it.
Well, that doesn't mean that you don't have to. That doesn't mean you don't have to break the sharks down, because it's no excuse. It's no excuse. Oh, it's a predatory environment. It's okay for the sexual predators to be there. It's normal. You have to expect it. No, you don't have to expect it. You don't have to give in, and you don't have.
Yes. Okay. Yes. In Hollywood, you have to expect sexual predators being there. I'm not normalizing it.
No, I'm not going to expect it. I'm not going to,
It's there. You can't. It's not living in reality to ignore it.
I'm not talking about ignoring. I'm talking about doing something about it. I'm talking about reporting the people. You go to. They are the people. They are the people. Okay. They are the established. Look, the reason why. No, let me finish. The reason why people in Hollywood do what they do is the same reason that people bully. Don't point your finger. It's the same reason that people bully, which is they know they can do it because they know they're not going to be punished for it. The people are in control. Those people are in control. They're in control of the police departments. They're in control of the social services. We all know that the police departments are unfortunately corrupt. We all know the social services steal kids. We all know the healthcare workers give bad medicine to people. Okay.
Right?
My point now, okay? First of all, you said women complain about being objectified.
Sorry?
No, you said first point that you said in this conversation was that women complain about being objectified. Women don't complain. Women did not listen. Women did not complain. What they did is they took the names and they put them out there to warn other women and for these people to be punished.
That's great.
Good.
That's great. That's what should be done. Everyone should know everything.
Great.
That's what everyone should know everything. Nothing should be covered up, but it's been well known. You go back to Flynn. Errol Flynn got his nickname In Like Flynn because of his alleged, and I have to say that, otherwise I'll get into trouble, predatory nature. And Hollywood has been like that from the very beginning.
Yes, yes, I know, but that doesn't mean that
anybody getting involved in that. Look, what is the BBC? Has the BBC, I want to ask you a question, but I'm going to give you the answer anyway because it's part of asking. The BBC has been known to cover up known pedophiles who work in high-level positions for the BBC for 40 to 50 years, right? The BBC has been known to do that. And you want an example? Jimmy Savile, okay? The leading presenter on children's television was not only a pedophile, he was actually caught with dead children in hospitals, okay? So there you go. Now, my mother and father used to sit me down in front of the television when I was a kid and watch Jim Will Fix It For You. It turns out this guy was like using the children in the audience to collect them and groom them for pedophile rings, right? And that was in the BBC, and the people in the BBC knew it. In fact, John, is it Lydon, was the lead singer of the Sex Pistols, said it in an interview in the late 1970s. Yeah, on a BBC interview, and that was why the Sex Pistols were gone off the air, right? Because he's like, I would not work with these people in the BBC because everyone knows that they're all these people, this group of people are all pedophiles, right? And it was said there, and the BBC covered it up. and they're still covering it up today, and it's scary, but it's there. Now back to Hollywood and women, right? No one should have to worry about any physical threat to themselves or any other kind of threat. No one should have to worry about it. But we live in a world which is super fucking dangerous. The people in Europe have gone to sleep. They've been pacified. They've taken the wrong pills. Look at Sweden. Sweden's been overrun by. They're talking about changing the Swedish flag to have Muslim symbols on it to pacify the Muslims in Sweden, right? It's insane. Swedish women can't go out at night because the number of rapes are 1,000% higher every 6 months than they were before. It's absolutely insane what's going on. So not to talk about the small towns in Germany that have been overrun by migrants and don't even have any German people in them anymore. I mean, there are places that are not safe. You can go on YouTube and you can find videos of Muslims at festivals in Europe raping women. Yeah, and it's on YouTube. It's frightening, right? So, and these are festivals to support the immigrants, and the immigrants, and they're organized by women, and the immigrants go there to rape the women who go to the festivals, and then the women go to the police, and the police are told by the establishment not to do anything about it. And you can go and double check all the facts of that, right? Because I've seen those stories on the internet. So women need to know that there are good men to be around and bad men to be around. And women are sort of this, they've got this ability always to be able to see the bright side of everything. You know, it's like let's take it back to Once Upon a Time. Yeah, you've got the Rumpelstiltskin character. Let's forget about all this. You know, he changed from bad into good. We've got the Rumpelstiltskin character. Somebody falls in love with him because they see the good in him, even though he does bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. And anybody with half a brain would just run away in the opposite direction because obviously he's killing people and doing evil things constantly. So women have this ability always to see the good in things. Yeah. The trouble with that is if there's 10% good and 90% bad, you're in a screwed up situation. And this is what happens to women. They're like, well, you know, I see that element of good in them, and I see the reason for this. And then
now you're just getting off topic, though.
No. And the men are walking around going, good men are warning women of the bad man. And I've seen this my entire life. Good men are warning women of the bad man, and the women would rather be with the bad man than the good man. And then they go to the good man to complain about the bad man. And it's the same with the negative choices that men make for women as well, where the man makes this choice to be with a woman and is like, I don't understand why this is not working out. It's not working out because you're not using your brain to scan the environment with the radar and realize there's a threat there, because all you can see is the nicey stuff, and you got to get beyond the nicey stuff and dig down deep into the character and see what motivates a person and learn to understand them that way. Hollywood is a predatory environment. You can see the producers, it's coming out now, the producers of the films are rapists, okay? Yeah. It's coming out now that, Kevin Spacey, 2 weeks ago, Kevin Spacey was accused of raping a 14-year-old. You know what he said in the interview? He said, to be honest, I can't remember. And then it was good for him. And then he said, I can't remember, and I'd like to tell you I'm gay. Oh, good. He'd come out for being gay. That's fantastic. And it was all over the media that it was great that he'd finally come out and confessed everything. And none of the major papers pointed out the fact that the story came out that he was gay because he raped a 14-year-old but can't remember it. Yeah. So it's about time that people woke up to what's going on. Look at the Muslims in Britain. Rape gangs in the small, over 1,000 girls in one small English town were raped by one gang of migrants, and the police did nothing. Not only did the police do nothing, the local men who were living there did nothing. Men have lost it. They've lost their balls. They've lost their testosterone. They've lost their ability to defend themselves. They're being walked over by all these things that are going on, and and it's not. Look at it. Here's one way to look at it, of many ways to look at it. Yeah, you've got you've got the girls being brought up in single parent families by their mothers. There's no man around, so they don't have men around to teach them what I'm telling you right now, is that men need to teach women and girls that there are good men and there are bad men, and explain how to understand the difference, because otherwise the woman, like, I know that you in the past have been in relationships where you thought that was not a good idea, the same way that I've been in relationships where I thought that was not a good idea. And then I go back and I go, okay, how did I get myself into that stupid, ridiculous situation? Yeah. And the reason why I got into the stupid, ridiculous situation is because there was information that I didn't know that I should have known. And one of the reasons that I didn't know it was because no one ever told me. And once you learn it, it's so obvious that the road was a bad road, but no one ever told me. And if someone had been able to explain that to me before, then I would know that better. So it's the job and responsibility of men to go to women and to explain to them the different ways, the different methods, the different systems of looking at guys and seeing which guys it's safe to be around and which guys it's not safe. Look, I'll tell you what the planet is full of. The planet is full of good men going around saving women from bad men. What do you think the wars in the Middle East are, right? You know, what do you think stopping the giant influxes of migrants coming in is? You know, what do you think World War II was, right? It's all an attempt by good people by good men, in a sense, to stop bad men taking over things. And women think it's okay to go everywhere and do everything. Not, the world is a fucking dangerous place. You got to be really careful where you go. You've got to be really careful what you do. You've got to be really careful who you're with. You've got to be really careful about all these elements, because you get it wrong once. You get it wrong once, and that's it. All you need is one mistake. You can do 1,000 things right, but you get one of these important things wrong and your life is fucked. So it's really important to understand that.
Yeah.
Potty time. You got the classical music in the background. Is not a kid's toy. It's a potty saying it's full of stuff.
Do you want to go and empty it?
Me? Well, you're gonna have to. Yeah, I'll leave you to do the.
Oh, okay, I'll do it because I've got to check the meat as well for my best idea.
Check the meat.
Not your meat.
She said I have this massive rant about what the role of men is, part of what the role of men is in society, and Yanka finishes it by saying, well, I've got to go check the meat. So just it's all going off over there. It's all going off everywhere today, I tell you. People seem to want the easy road. People seem to walk around blind and naive about how the world really is. I'll tell you how the world really is. It's brutal, it's aggressive, it's dangerous, it's dark, and it's all out there. Now, of course, it's not all like that, but what you see is what in religion they described as the purgatory, right? This is this earth is the place where we are tested. We have to make the right decisions on a lot of difficult and complex issues, and people think that everything is just the way it is, and they can walk around and be nice and, you know, be the change you want to see, and everything's going to be fine. Well, great. Gandhi came out with "Be the change you want to see." You know what someone did? They stuck a bomb up his ass, right? It blew him up, right? So, you know, JFK was like, you know, beware of dark societies. You know, what happened next? Bullet in the head, right? John Lennon was like, the world is a crazy place. Bang, bang. That was the end of him.
Can I say something?
Malcolm X.
Can I say something?
Martin Luther King.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got obvious situations, right, where it's a bad idea to go to a
And
bar full of
let me make
big men
yes,
being
let's
all
go that way. Let
aggressive,
me make a comment
right?
about that. And every time I've heard about a bad story,
Mm-hmm.
as the person's told the story, I'm banging my hand on my head going, did you not see it coming a mile away? Right? You know, did you not know the road that you were going down? Did you not realize that everything was narrowing towards a point where there was only really going to be one result?
Not every time. I've myself been in a situation where I worked in places before and I never had a problem, and I had male staff and I had cooks and I had managers and I had bosses, and I never had any problem with any, you know, cooks would try to flirt and stuff, but that's okay, whatever.
There's nothing wrong with flirting.
There's nothing wrong with flirting, exactly. But then I once got to a workplace where there was a problem, okay, where a cook would try to sneak his hands whenever he was trying to sneak his hands, right?
Well, then you go to another male colleague there and say, look, this guy's out of order. You go to a good man and you say, this guy's out of order. And the good man goes and talks to him about it because he's a good man, and that's what good men do. And if you can't find a man around about you who will do that, then you're not surrounded by any good men. It's a dangerous place and you shouldn't spend too long there. It's not safe.
Okay, that's not the point. The point is that you can't always see it coming. Okay?
Oh, you brought a box.
The point
We're
is
standing on.
that you can't always see it coming.
Ooh.
I've had masses of experiences
Hi, darling.
before in workplace and
Nice
never
to
had
see
a
you.
problem. This was a workplace just like any other, yet I had this problem. Okay, so
No,
I mean,
no,
there are
no,
obvious.
let me stop you. There's a mistake there. It's not a workplace just like any other. It's not, because the experience that you had there was different.
Yes,
Okay, we have to
but
stop
I'm
right now.
talking
We have
about
to
the
stop right now
appearance.
because this is really dangerous. What's going
I'm
on
talking
right
about the appearance of the workplace. When
now.
you
It doesn't matter.
you know,
It
you
doesn't
can't
matter how
see. You
it
can't
doesn't-
see there's a problem with a cook.
You can feel it because he was touching you. What is your problem?
Yes,
You
but
can't
only
get out of
after
there.
you're already working there.
Well, then you go to the boss and say you've got a sexual predator.
Yes, I know, but that's afterwards. I'm
Then
telling
you do it at the
you.
time. You have to do it at the time.
I know.
When it happens, and I'll tell you what, this is key. This
You're
is
not
key.
let me
No,
talk.
I will, but there's a key point here that people need to know. If you don't do something about the problem at the time of the problem, then time interferes with the problem. It's really bit of a performance going on. Right. So if you, and here's the example. This is really important to understand because people say things like years after there's a problem, they come out and say, well, look, this thing happened years ago. And this is a major issue that people don't understand, and it's a legal issue. It's not just practical, it's legal, yeah? Think about it like this. You have a bike, right? Someone steals your bike. And you're like, oh my God, my bike's gone. And then you look out and you see some guy on your bike, like cycling away. And you're like, come on, let's go get him, or get a phone out and take a picture of him or something, or whatever, you know, you're going to, right. At the moment it's happened. Now, imagine a situation where someone steals your bike. You don't see the person who steals it, it's gone. But 2 weeks later, you see somebody somewhere else riding your bike. Can you go to that person on the bike and say, I want my bike back? You can't, because the period of time in between has caused a series of events to happen that you absolutely don't know about. And it might be that the person who stole your bike sold it to this person, who then sold it to this person, who then sold it to this person. So this other person might legitimately have your bike from their perspective. but from your perspective, it's been stolen, right? And this happens with, I use bike because it happens with cars as well, right? Now, if you can't catch the thief in the act, then the chances of them being caught later on go like whereas it's like if the person's doing the act and you catch them doing the act, there's like a 90% chance they'll be punished for it. If you don't catch them during the act, if there's a period of time between that, there's something like only a 2 to 3% chance that they'll be punished for it because of that period of time in between. And that's why crimes and problems have to be dealt with at the point at which they happen, because if that doesn't happen, and I know this is wrong, but it's the way the world works. It's the same way like the sun comes up in the morning, right? It's the way the world works. The longer period of time there is between you and reporting or doing something about it, the less it appears to other people that it's a crime.
That is a very important point that you just made, but it had absolutely nothing to do with what I was talking about.
Good.
Okay.
Good. Because
I was trying to explain to you that yes, there are obvious situations that are dangerous. Okay, like going out at night, or
bang. Thanks, Will.
Or I don't know, going somewhere where there's a lot of drunk people. Okay. I don't know. Let me talk, for Christ's sake. Yes, you've just talked for a half an hour. I'm trying to.
Please get to the point. Please make the point.
But there are situations like the situations I've been in where you cannot prevent the thing from happening because you have no way of knowing that it's going to happen. It happens in places like your normal, usual workplaces, in restaurants. It happens anywhere. It can happen on a bus, right? Where you just go during the day on a bus and somebody tries to grope your arse. But
did that happen to you?
Yes.
Somebody groped your arse on
Yes, absolutely.
And what did you do about it? Where was it, and what did you do about it?
I pushed them away and I probably got off.
Okay, now, do you carry, or at that time, did you carry any protection on you? Did you carry a knife or mace or a gun? Or
no, I didn't, but I was so shocked that probably even if I did, I wouldn't even think about using it because
I would
you're
not
shocked.
send any of my daughters out anywhere by themselves without mace. Or in a culture, and that's because the gun is not legal for them here. Otherwise, I'd get them trained in firearms, and they'd have a gun. Okay, but the best thing in this kind of situation is the strong dog mace. Yeah, so I wouldn't send them out anywhere without.
And this is exactly
the moment someone touches your ass, you go into your bag and you get your mace out, and you just mace the motherfucker, right?
And this is exactly the point that was made in the article. What you just said. You said I wouldn't let any of my daughters out without a mace.
Yeah.
That was exactly the point in the article, that women have to be careful around men all the time. Around men they don't know all the time, because you don't know if he is going to try something or not, and you have to always, assess yourself. Am I being too flirty? Am I buttoned up properly? I hope he doesn't think that I'm flirting with him, because I'm totally not. I'm just trying to be nice, or smile, or be polite. Okay.
That's personal paranoia. It's got nothing to do with being safe.
It's based on experience.
It's personal, but
it's based on experience.
It's personal. That's a personal paranoia. Because there's a difference between being worried about everything and being safe.
Women, I don't know. I don't know. A woman who doesn't walk outside in the dark with keys in her hand between her knuckles in case a man comes from somewhere trying to attack them. I do that myself. I always carry keys between my knuckles in case somebody attacks me, so that I can rip their face off. Because I would have no way of, there's no way that my strength would be.
Doesn't that prove my earlier point correct, that the world is a dangerous place and you have to be very careful?
Yes, but the point is that it's mainly dangerous for women. It's more dangerous for women than it is for men. when it comes to the interaction. And now men are complaining that they have to assess all situations constantly. And this woman was making a point that a woman has to assess all situations constantly to make sure that they're not going to make themselves a victim to a sexual predator. So they always have to assess.
Good. That's called being normal. Having the radar and assessing the situation around about you is what everyone should do all of the time, men and women.
Yes, and her point was basically that now men are getting the taste of that, basically, because now they are suddenly forced to assess their behavior, or make sure that they're not being sexually offensive or sexually attacking, because maybe I'm not talking about the good men, right, who don't do that stuff.
I think that part of the fact
about the dirtbags who use that normally and thought that was okay and that was normal, and suddenly they have to go like, oh wait a minute, what if I'm going to be accused of something? Well, just don't be in.
Okay. I think all of those points are very important. There's there are some crazy statistics which are out there, and there are statistics that, okay, I'm not saying that things are easier for women. Okay, I'm not saying that, and what I've said about daughters proves the point, I think. I think it's 90% of all allegations about rape, when they're investigated, are found to be false.
Now, question is, are they found to be false, or are they not proved to be right because there's not enough evidence? That's a big difference.
Yeah, okay. There's if you're going to make the allegation, you have to have evidence. You cannot make the allegation without evidence, right? You have to have some kind of evidence.
Logically, you should, but I imagine people
you can't
don't think like that, because they don't think.
Okay, but you have to. You can't make allegations without evidence. Like, I can't say someone stole my bike if I don't have a picture of my bike or the receipts for buying my bike, right? I can't, because I go to the police and the police are like, "There's no evidence that you had a bike," right? So you've got to look at the law, right? As the law is practical. We all know the law can be abused, but we've got to look at it from a practical sense, right?
Yeah.
You cannot make allegations without evidence. That is false testimony, right? Allegations without evidence are false testimony. So you can't do that. Now, this underlying that is two things. Okay, the 9 out of 10 that, let's say, in a, that are either unproven, but you're creating a mess anyway if you make an allegation without evidence, right?
I understand that.
Okay.
I understand
now,
that.
You're also putting yourself in a bad position in the first place. Your radar's not working, right? If you've put yourself in that situation, then either your radar's not working or your reality has been broken down by a false reality where you've come to trust someone who's untrustworthy. That's a bad personal judgment. It doesn't make it right for someone to do something wrong to you, but wrong shit happens to people every day. People buy shit every day that they think is going to be one thing, and it turns out that it's something else, right? And there's no difference in terms of the fact you make a wrong decision. Now, the results are horribly different, but it comes down to the quality of thinking, right? It doesn't matter what how negative the result is. It depends on the quality of your choice at the beginning, because nobody can factor in all the possible consequences. If you make the right choice, then things will be okay. And if you make the wrong choice, things will not be okay. And the world is full of people every day who make the wrong choices, the wrong decisions, and stupid decisions. Let's take an example. Okay, let's say a car crash, right? Nobody wants a car crash. Just fucking shit happens, right? People crash their cars for whatever reason, right? nobody wants to put themselves in a position, no woman wants to put themselves in a position where they could be raped. And of course, we all know men get raped as well, probably to a lesser extent than women, but okay. Now, no woman wants to put herself in a position where she can be raped. But cars crash. They do it because they make the wrong decision. Right?
Yes,
it
but
doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right from the other side. But the women, and look, if women weren't putting themselves out there and having sex with all of these different men, then it wouldn't be a fucking problem. Would
what?
it? Yes.
Well, women
seriously.
are putting themselves out there and having sex with all of these different men.
Okay. Well, if you look at modern society, having many relationships is considered normal. And this comes from the young women that I've worked with to help them and teach them the things that we've been talking about here, right? That they all consider it normal to have a variety or as many partners as is possible or necessary, because that's what you do. You just change every 3 or 4 months. They've got the
What?
friends. They've got the friends. Yes, it exists. I'm sorry. Welcome to the real world.
It
It's the
exists. Well,
friends.
okay, there's a
It's the-
small percentage of women that are promiscuous. That doesn't mean that they now caused that they
Look,
are
there
the
was a-
reason why men are raping all women. Okay.
Oh, that I don't agree with that statement at all.
Okay, they
but I don't
don't-
agree with that.
I don't mean
statement.
raping
That's
all
crazy.
women. I'm talking about raping any random woman.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
they don't go and rape the
You
promiscuous
didn't
woman.
see the post that was
Okay.
going around on Facebook last week, which was a woman posted how to make $10,000 in 30 days. Yeah. Yeah. How to make 10, and it was posted as, my friend has done this and it works. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, of course, there's no way of checking this, but I'm telling you the kind of mentality that's out there. Yeah. So what she posted was, over a period of a month, I slept with 20 men. Yeah. And then I faked a pregnancy test and then contacted the men and told them that I needed $500 to $1,000 for an abortion. Now,
So
this
what
is
does
the kind of thing that men have to deal with. This is-
one sick person have to do with women? I mean, that's anecdotal thing, right? That's like, okay,
Okay,
it
so that's-
exists. Fucked up people exist. Fucked up women exist. Fucked up men exist.
Okay, I know that wasn't an attack on women, because
Yeah.
what the fuck were the guys doing?
Well, but
right?
you were
That's
just-
crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But you were saying that you basically said that women get raped because there are women that are promiscuous.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's stupid. Because it's not true.
Welcome to the real world. This is
It's
real. That's how brutal the world is.
It's not true, but there's
If
no
you don't surround yourself
there's-
with good men, that's what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, I know, but there is no cause and effect relationship between those two statements. Women are promiscuous, yes, some of them are.
Of course, there's
Men
a
rape
higher
women, yes,
probability.
some of them
'Cause
do.
who's gonna want to sleep with a promiscuous woman?
I don't
Only
know.
someone
I'm
who
not a
doesn't care
man.
about her. The chances of you getting raped go through the fucking roof when you do that. That's just the wrong thing to. Who the hell is gonna, who the hell is gonna want to get involved with someone like that? I mean, that's only people who don't care are gonna want to get involved with highly promiscuous people. It's insane. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's a fact.
But that doesn't mean that they're going to rape them.
You're creating the environment for it. If you sleep around, you're creating the environment for the fact that you're taking a giant fucking risk. And that's why women in history, pretty much, and a lot of men as well, although much to a lesser extent, because the men were more primitive and physical, right? But women in history tried to, especially through Christianity, limit themselves to one partner. And if men knew what was good for them, they limited themselves as well. And this promiscuity is a dangerous predatory syndrome that causes people to put themselves at risk thinking it's safe when it's not. Drop the mic.
Okay.
Your turn.
I forgot what I was talking about before you started your monologue, so I really don't have anything to say to that.
Well,
I forgot what I was saying.
Does bad shit happen to women
Yes.
because they're bad men? Yes. Yeah, Will, I'm in the middle of a conversation with your mother.
What is it?
Well, go and clean it up then. You know how to do it.
Get a tissue and clean it up.
Exactly. Right. So, there's bad shit happens to women who do the wrong things because there are bad men out there. The same way.
Also, my point was that bad shit happens to good women who do not put themselves in any risky situations as well, like me working in a restaurant, okay, for example.
And bad shit happens to good men who do not put themselves in dangerous situations.
Anyway, I know what I wanted to say. I now remember what I wanted to say. Okay, you said you were talking about a lot of the alleged, whatever you pronounce it as, rapes turned out to be either false allegations or
can I make a point about that? The point about that is that when it is found out that the allegation is false, nothing bad happens to the women. They're not penalized. They're not criminalized.
Isn't that a crime? False allegation is not a crime.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
False allegation of rape.
I'm pretty sure that false allegation of a criminal activity
is a
crime.
There is no woman who has ever been fined or has ever gone to prison because they've made a false allegation of rape. Doesn't exist. So women can do it, and it's pretty much, well, who in their right mind would do something like that anyway, right?
We're obviously talking about disturbed individuals. I mean, the same way normal men wouldn't rape a woman, normal woman wouldn't make up a false allegation about a man raping her, right? I mean, it's not what normal people do. So we're obviously talking about the disturbed individuals.
Look, there's a lot of disturbed individuals out there. I'm always going on about logical thought processes, right?
My point. Stop, because you're just stealing away from what I wanted to say, because you jumped in the middle. My point was that there's also a lot of rapes that are not reported that happened, and there's also the psychological thing that you have to take into consideration, which is, you said if it happens, you basically take the evidence to the police, right? A lot of times women are in a shock because they're, freshly traumatized, and they either don't go to the police, either they hide, they feel ashamed, they try to wash it off. I've heard that they somebody would come home and stand in the shower for 5 hours because they're in a state of shock, right?
Look, when your car is crashed, you don't leave it broken at the side of the road. You get it towed back to the repair shop.
You do if you're in a shock. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm not talking about it happens, I'm all rational, because yes, there are women who are all rational when it happens and go straight to the police and report it and go to the doctor and get the evidence, get the papers. But a lot of women out there do not, because they're in a shock, and they therefore destroy the evidence, and then there is nothing they can do, right?
It was unfortunate and perhaps stupid that they got into the situation in the first place.
You never know about that.
It is also. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I'm saying as.
Well,
you
don't know about that.
Well, then you're with the wrong fucking person.
It's a possibility, but
you're with the wrong. You made a fucking mistake. You made a big fucking mistake, right? And if you destroy the evidence, you're fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid if you destroy the evidence of the fact somebody raped you.
No, you don't. You're not fucking stupid.
You are. You're stupid.
You can be in a shock. Do you know what shock is?
I know what shock is, but that doesn't give you the right to destroy the evidence of a crime against you.
I'm
That's
not talking
mad.
about rights here. I'm just talking about
You don't
altered
destroy-
state of mind. You can't make conscious, rational decisions in that state
Well,
of
that
mind.
sounds like the average person to me. I mean, the average person is not capable of a conscious, rational decision as to go to McDonald's and drink Coca-Cola. There you go. The average person is not capable
You're just,
of a
you're
conscious,
just,
rational decision.
stop it.
because
You're just
they sit
comparing
down and
two
watch
things that you
football
can't
matches.
You can't compare someone who's just been awfully traumatized and someone who decides to go and drink Coca-Cola. That's a stupid comparison. I'm sorry, but it is. Okay?
Let me make another point then. I didn't make a comparison about that. You see, you're making the wrong comparison. I made the comparison about bad choice. Bad choice. Alright? We all make those wrong decisions. That's what I'm saying happens. People make bad decisions and they have to learn to live with it. This idea that someone is traumatized is not an excuse for doing something wrong. And the key point is that we both know the problem that appears at the end, this rape, is basically like a cancer. It's something that has metastasized over time due to the experiences that two people have had in the past, assuming that it's a situation with two people, right? We all know that the problem doesn't have a solution because she shouldn't have put herself in that vulnerable position, or she trusted someone, and every guy in the world has given advice to somebody at some point saying, don't with him, it's a really bad idea, right?
I got
So
that advice about you, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Do you?
Yeah.
Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, there's a couple of different sources. Anyway, so yeah, it's crazy shit that goes on. I mean, I had all these series of girls that said that I slept with him when I didn't. I mean, that was really weird, right? So,
I don't know about the girls have to.
so there was a whole series, right, of situations, of experiences where I find out that this person and this person and this person and this person, this person all said that they'd had relationships with me when none of them had relationships with me. That was really weird, right? At least 5 girls that I know have said that they've had relationships with me and they didn't have anything with me at all, ever. And they told this to their friends, and their friends told this to other people, and before you know it, there's a giant fucking mushroom cloud from nothing, because nothing happened. And then people go, well, it can't be nothing because so-and-so said something to so-and-so, and so. It's just like, okay, let's just not talk about it, because if you try to address the problem, you start talking nothing into something, right? It's insane. So we both know that these problems come from the fact that the girl made a bad decision because she was not educated enough.
No.
Let me fucking
It
finish.
came
Fucking
from the
let me
thought
fucking
that
finish.
this
Let me fucking
guy
finish.
was fucked up enough to think that raping is okay. That's where it came from.
Well, I was trying to get to that point, but you wouldn't let me. I was trying to get to that point.
Okay.
So can I say it again?
Okay.
Just put it on record, right? It all comes from the fact that this event that happens is a cancer. And we all know the problem with cancer is that it started years ago. A series of events, and non-events as well, because not knowing what you should know is a non-event. Yeah. So let me finish. The girl absolutely should not have put herself in that vulnerable position. She made a mistake. It was wrong, and she has to admit that it was the wrong decision to make. It might have been the right decision at the time, but it proved later to be the wrong decision. Now, the guy, he's got some fucking issue going back to his childhood, right? Where he thinks it's okay to be aggressive and force himself on a woman, which is obviously completely fucked up and wrong, right? So you've got two people with two histories that are coming together to create this problem. Now, of course, the larger element of the problem lies with the aggressor.
Obviously.
Yes, lies with the aggressor, because without trust, there's nothing. That's why I say the woman sees the positive side, right? The woman sees the positive side. The guy's like 99. You know, like even. Do you know how many women loved Hitler? Do you know how many women loved Stalin? Do you know how many women love Donald Trump?
It's not. It's
personality of power.
It's not always a situation where they trust the guy. You've got a lot of situations.
What the fuck are you doing with someone if you don't trust them?
You're not doing anything with them. They attack you from nowhere. Okay, you're walking down the street and they grab you from behind. You're not doing anything with them. You're not trusting anybody. You're just walking home from work.
Yeah, car crash, right?
Okay. Exactly. I mean, car crash.
Look,
one person is an idiot. Okay. Or two people are.
Okay. What's the difference? No. Let me finish.
No, I want to finish.
No.
I want to finish my sentence for once in this conversation.
Okay, I want to know what the difference is between. Okay, let's say there's a car accident because one person drives badly or aggressively or whatever and crashes into another car, right? Let's say they kill the person in the other car. This happens every day, right?
And it's not the other guy's fault. And he didn't do a wrong decision because he was just going past.
Yeah. So what's the difference? I'm curious, and I don't know. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between that and the woman who's walking down the street and she gets raped by somebody? I mean, how do you balance? I mean, obviously both are terrible,
the point.
Right?
That's the point that I wanted to make. Okay, you exactly took my point. There is no difference, and that is the point that I wanted to make, and I tried to make to you that yes, sometimes the woman is putting herself into dangerous situations, but sometimes they are not. Just like the car that got hit by somebody who's drunk, right? They can't know somebody's going to be drunk on this road and they're gonna hit me, right? They made the wrong decision. They have probably made the wrong decision when they decided to start 2 minutes earlier than they could have started, but they had no way of knowing that decision could be wrong. It's not a wrong decision.
But wait, right? That's exactly what I said when I said what can be a good decision now can turn out over time to be a bad decision.
Yes, but you can't really call it a bad decision. It was it's not your fault that you made that decision because it was a normal thing to do.
Whoa.
Right?
It's not your fault, but you still have to accept that it happened.
Yeah, I mean, yes, okay, I accept that it happened. I accept that it turns out to be a bad decision to go at 7:15 and not at 7:18. Right? But what's the point in accepting that? I mean, it's not my fault that I'm dead, right? Somebody else smashed into me. So that's what I'm talking about.
You're not worried about being fucking dead.
That's what I'm talking about. That yes, sometimes women put themselves into crazy, risky situations like, oh, I'm going to a party with a lot of men that I don't know and I drink drinks that they pour to me and I have no idea what's in the drinks, right? So that's obviously putting yourself in a situation where something bad's going to happen.
That. I mean, we talked before about neurolinguistics, right?
Yeah.
There are courses in every major city in every major country about how to pick up women using neurolinguistic techniques so the women don't even know.
Yeah, that as well. I mean, there's a lot of risky situations that you don't
know anything about that, and I'm saying, let me educate you about being careful.
Maybe you should do that for a living. Maybe you should educate women about men. You know? Maybe you should do like a coach for young girls. Like, if you don't know how to teach girls to be safe in this world, send them to me. Oh no, send them to me.
Well, that just sounds like a weird church. I don't think I like that.
Yeah, well, you know, teach them Muay Thai or whatever. Why do you think I think that Zora should go to a freaking Thai boxing class? right?
Well,
Not that- not-
did I
yeah.
not say the same thing?
Yeah, you
I
did. You
said the
did.
same thing.
You did.
Okay.
You did.
I said the same
Anyway.
thing about it.
Yeah, it's the same with the women. They sometimes they do put themselves in risky situations, but sometimes they're just walking home. They might
Okay,
even be
okay,
walking home with a mace in their
wait,
pocket, but
okay,
they have
okay,
no
okay.
time to
I'll
take
tell
it
you what. I'll
out.
tell you what I have a big problem
Right?
with. I have a big problem with the giant generalization of people talking about all of the situations, right? I think you have to look to understand something.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at just the one case and look at what happened there. Like, say 20 women get raped by men, right? I don't know, whatever, right? You can't just generalize all 20 situations as the same.
No,
No,
obviously.
you've got to look at each one individually, and people are taking the whole thing as one.
I think
because
you can
it's- because it-
group them.
Because it's easier, but that's a mistake. Because there's no difference between saying it's all like this, or then it is categorizing anything else as exactly the same. You see what I'm saying? You've got to look at.
Yeah, I know. I understand what
You
you're saying.
can't say that all this is like this and all this is like that, because you got to look at it. There are instances of the white policemen beating up black people on the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's horrible and it's wrong and the whites are racist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's incidences of black people making up stories of white policemen beating them on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks from the outside like the white policeman is beating up the black man because because it's racism. But it's not. You've got to look at each individual situation.
Yeah. I got
each
it.
individual case.
Mhm.
Each day there's something like 3,000 to 5,000 crimes committed by people with guns in the United States. Yeah. Each day there's something like 7,000 people's lives that are saved by people with guns.
Mm-hmm.
In the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually, you can take one statistic and you can say it's terrible, which it is. But the truth is, they're actually helping people more than they're hurting.
Oh my God!
people.
Did you hear the recording about that girl on the phone with the police that was saying somebody's coming into my house? Daddy's got a gun in his drawer. Can I shoot the bad guy? Did you hear that?
No, don't say anything. Okay, don't say
sorry.
anything. Let me imagine
Uh-huh.
that the police probably advised her. Okay, if it was bad police, right?
Uh-huh.
They would advise her not to do anything and wait for the police to get there. If it was good police, they would talk her through how to use the gun to protect herself.
They told her yes. They told her. I think it was a woman policeman on the other side.
Yeah, they would talk her through the process of how to
and
get
she
the
said,
gun, how to use the gun.
I think
what
she
kind of
asked, "Do
gun."
you know how to work it?" And she was like, "Yes." And she said, "Okay, do whatever it takes to protect yourself."
Absolutely. And
I think she shot the guy as well.
good. Good.
Anyway,
good.
that must
I
have
mean,
been a horrible experience for
criminals
the child.
need to fear.
Children with guns.
Yes. Good. People forget about three categories that people forget about:
Mhm.
kids, old people, and disabled people.
Mhm.
And these people are the victims of crimes
Mhm.
because they have less power.
They're more vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah, more vulnerable, absolutely. And that having weapons, just
Mhm.
these people are, when the disabled guy in the wheelchair's got like a Glock under his seat, no one's gonna fuck with him, right?
Mhm.
So it's necessary to have that protection.
Yeah,
The
I
old
think.
people are targets unless they've got guns
I
because they
know.
don't have the physical strength to fight back.
I think that. I think that the
Statistic-
point, okay, that this whole
One in every 4 kids is abused in Western society. I mean, that's a frightening statistic. Let's look at, if we're going to talk about rape and solve that problem, then we've got to talk about all these other issues and solve them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
I think that the point that the whole
Got a big tub here. There you go, Jazzy.
Sorry, can you give it to Jazzy,
Jazzy.
please?
Oh, that's done it, hasn't it?
She'll take it. She'll take it if you
Jazzy.
give it to her again.
Jazzy, can you take it from your sister, please? Zora. Oops. She's not going to take it. We got the piano going on. We got the.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway,
I think that
we're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, I know. Wait, maybe she'll come. Do you want to come here?
Do you want to come up here, darling?
Come here. Oh!
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay to cuddle about it. It's okay. Welcome to the Crying Podcast. Today we will be analysing.
Jesse, do you like spaghetti? Do you think we should go and cook some spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
You've got some tomato on your face.
I'd like some spaghetti. I don't know about anybody else.
I'm really hungry. You've got some tomato on your face. Yeah.
Yeah. Jazzy.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, why is your elbow wet?
We've got Christmas music already in the background.
Why's your elbow wet? Is your skin in water?
'Tis the season to be jolly.
Yeah, I think that the point that this medialization, what's the word, of sexual harassment is supposed to do, or is trying to make, is that it's not okay for men to.
Do you want the inside baseball on all of that? I'll tell you that right
No,
now.
because I want to finish my sentence. That's what I want to do.
You get to the point then, please.
I think the point is that it's not okay for men to touch, grope, be all, hey, if women don't want the physical contact. And second is to empower women to know that they can say no. And to give them the strength to say no. Because if you feel that you're all alone in a situation, then you're not as strong as when you know that there's, millions of women feeling the same way, and I should step up for myself.
Yeah, but the thing is that the average person out there doesn't understand what's going on with this topic and this situation. And I'm going to tell you what no one else is going to tell you. That all of these stories and all of this information that's coming out has been set up by the American Democratic Socialists, Soros, and the Communists to take down Donald Trump. This is what all of this is about. All of this is a political move by the Democratic Party to get Donald Trump out of office. They're just putting the dominoes into place.
Okay.
Right now.
So they're making women really pissed off about sexual harassment to take Donald Trump down for sexual harassment.
They're going to take down a series of other key people, and they're going to get people so angry and so pissed off. Then they're going to come out with a couple of women who have said, Donald Trump did this to me, and the whole house of cards is going to come down.
Well, talking about putting yourself into a situation, obviously he's put himself into a situation by making some wrong decisions in the past about women. So,
yeah, well, it's still better than, let's say, Mr. Clinton, who's actually in court being proved guilty of rape 3 times. Right? So that's the Democrats for you. There's a difference between allegations and actual reality. So, and I'm not saying that either side is right or wrong, but it's clearly a political move designed to motivate. She's going to hit her head, and she can't come across here. There's cables. What are you asking her to come across in the middle of the cables? You're coming up here to me.
She's heavy.
She's wet. What's she wet?
She's heavy and red. It's just the spray that I gave them, the medicine spray. It's the lavender water. Put water in a bottle with a few drops of lavender essential oil in it.
Okay, that was very clever.
I know.
That's very, very clever. Okay, so what people don't understand is They're being gamed. They're being gamed. This has all been psychologically tested, right? It's all been extremely well thought out. How do we take him down? Step by step. And you watch the next 6 months to a year. The whole house of cards is going to come down, and this is just one of the strategies to motivate people to see the strong male alpha leader as a predator and to bring him down. Not saying right or wrong, but it's an extremely intelligently thought out strategy. It's been very well designed, and the average person has no clue what's going on. And it's a giant political move to change the structure of the system.
We'll see.
And
I suppose we'll see.
mark my words, this is just the first. It's gonna snowball. What's going on, darling?
I don't know.
Oh,
Throw her on the chair.
I can't throw her.
Well, just
She's a kid.
put her
Go
down
on,
there.
let's go under here.
Oh, okay.
Go under the cables. Mind your head. This way. No, this way, darling. That's it. Mind your head. Good job. There we go.
Mind the other head.
She's got out of there.
Okay.
Right.
I have to go put the water on the stove because first we have to boil the water, then we have to cook the spaghetti, and then you can eat, right? Because the meat is ready, probably burnt by now.
Well, thank you very much for listening to the highly personal podcast today. And
Was it highly personal? I thought it was quite interesting. It was like a social thing.
A thing. She's very good at defining.
I'm really good at talking. Very professionally as well. Yeah, calling everything the right names.
Yes.
Yes.
There we
What
go.
was it? We had a G had a bit of a
We've got 30 seconds.
rant.
There's
Nothing there.
luckily there's no blow bubble stuff in the blow bubble, but we don't make up anything. Look at what's going on the video here. Okay. Yeah, well, we're going to have to go
After
through to the
lunch,
kitchen
sweetie,
anyway.
okay? After lunch, yeah.
Right. In the middle of the kids, we're going to have to finish.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you very much for listening, tuning in, and leave your questions for us, and we'll.
This was an interesting conversation.
It
It is very sure to get people triggered because of what seemed.
It's a scientific.
Like-
It's a scientific operation to prepare people for political change.
This
That's
is going
exactly
to
what's
trigger
going on.
a lot of people because of what might seem like blaming the victims in some of your sentences,
You've got to stop her.
but
from
which
doing
was
that.
probably not meant to be that. So, so it's
Hey,
going to be interesting.
it's not about don't blame the victim. It's about
don't be a victim.
A victim. That's what it's about.
Take on
Right?
some
It's
Muay
about-
Thai classes.
Yes, it's about empowering people to not live in fear.
It's a bad thing that we have to live in a bad, dangerous world full of bad men who are going to attack us, or bad women, or bad people.
Parents, even.
What's going on?
You're up. Bye. Okay, I'm going to finish off the podcast because we need to spend time with the kids instead of debating these. Right. Okay. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back again with another podcast soon. If you want to get in touch with us, the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching on YouTube and Facebook. Yanka is the 21st century mom online. The spaghetti monsters are gonna get you. How do I turn this thing off? Stay cool, guys.